Well, classes are canceled for hundreds of thousands of students across the province. The union representing faculty is now on strike. The notice came down just hours ahead of this morning's strike deadline. 12,000 teachers, counselors, and librarians will now be hitting the picket lines at 24 colleges across the province. That includes George Brown. And of course, we're going to get an update from Ginella Massa live at George Brown College. The picket lines are set to start at 7 o'clock. Classes are canceled for hundreds of thousands of students across the province. The union representing faculty is now on strike. The notice came down just hours ahead of this morning's strike deadline. 12,000 teachers, counselors, and librarians will now be hitting the picket lines at 24 colleges across the province. That includes George Brown, and that's where we find Ginella Massa this morning. Ginella, what's the latest?
That's right, Tammy. We're outside the Culinary Arts School where they won't be serving up breakfast this morning. Students who will arrive in the next half hour will be greeted by picket lines outside of this college campus. As you mentioned, 12,000 teachers, faculty members walked off the job last night. OPSU, the union representing those faculty members, say some of the major sticking points are not wages, but rather job security, as well as academic freedom. They want to see a 50-50 ratio between part-time and full-time faculty, and they also want to have more say in the curriculum. Now, we did speak with the CEO of the College Employer Council, who told us that they're just not able to meet those demands.
Sticking point is the union would like to see a full-time complement ratio in the colleges. Essentially, it would force the employer into a staffing complement, into a rigid regime, and quite frankly, we don't see that as a way forward. They talk about academic freedom and essentially talking about academic control. So yes, faculty are a very important part of the process, but we also use accreditation bodies, program and advisory committees to help shape the programs for the colleges.
Now, the strike is affecting 500,000 students across 24 college campuses. No word on how long this strike could last. The CEO did say that they have had work stoppages before and no students have ever lost their entire year. There is a petition, though, circulating where students are asking for some money back because of this strike. No word on if the College Council will be able to do that, and there are currently no talks scheduled as of yet. I'll send it back to the newsroom.
All right, thanks very much, Ginella.
I'm Ginella Massa outside George Brown's downtown campus, where college students will be waking up to a strike. 12,000 faculty members walked off the job last night. They're asking for more job security and academic decision-making.
Last week, it was pretty safe to assume there was going to be a strike affecting 500,000 college students, but it wasn't until last night, even though there really were no significant talks of any sort over the weekend. It was last night when finally the word went officially out that Ontario's colleges are on strike. Ginella Massa is at George Brown campus this morning. With the latest on this, Ginella, we've been hearing a lot about these offers, $0 offers. What are the sticking points that we're left with this morning?
Well, good morning, Kevin. One of the main points, the union OPSU that's representing 12,000 faculty members says is job security. They want to see a 50-50 split between part-time and full-time faculty. That's something that the Ontario Employer Council says that they can't get into that kind of a rigid regime with their hiring, and it's not something that they're willing to do. Another point that they're also is a sticking point for the faculty is what they're calling academic freedom and decision making, the power to have more say in the curriculum. Again, that's something that the College Employer Council says that they aren't willing to budge on because they have other ways to decide, other groups, other bodies that help decide the curriculum. Now, the union says that the things that they are asking for don't have to do with wages, so it isn't going to cost them any money. But the College Employer Council disagrees. They say they are $250 million apart. Kevin.
There's never a good time for a strike, but this one a particularly bad time. A lot of students were expressing to me last night saying that, do I study for the midterms or not? So a lot of them were just going into to midterms right now. Now they're going to have to start all over. We were only a month into the school year, month and a half.
Well, yeah, the College Employer Council says that they have had work stoppages before. It's never affected the school year in the sense that it's never lost. The students have never lost a year, so they do say that they have contingency plans in place to, once this work stoppage is over, hopefully sooner rather than later, that they'd be able to continue the year. But you're right that it is leaving many students kind of concerned. We heard about one student showing up, didn't know about the strike, just returned from vacation, and had come to class early to finish an assignment, and well, that assignment isn't due today, and who knows when he will have to hand it in.
All right, Ginella, Massa, George Brown this morning. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Carrie. Well, teachers and college faculty around the province have hit the picket lines after calling a strike late last night. Nearly 500,000 students are now out of the classroom. The strike affects 12,000 teachers, counselors, and librarians from 24 colleges right across Ontario, and that includes George Brown. And that's where we find Ginella Massa this morning with the latest directly from the union as well. Jella.
Well, Tammy, we're outside the downtown George Brown campus where faculty members have just arrived. They're just getting ready and headed to their picket, which we're walking with them because they're going to the front of the campus on King Street. Of course, 24 colleges affected across the province. That's 12,000 faculty, affecting 500,000 college students. They walked off the job last night, and we spoke with one of these spokespersons with the union about why the sticking points are still keeping them from sorry, I'm just trying not to walk into the wall here. We spoke with the union rep about what the major sticking points are in this strike.
Sticking points have been the same from the get-go, and that's around shared decision-making in the colleges. So we believe that faculty, administrators, and students should work together through academic freedom and collegial governance to make decisions about what happens in the classrooms. We feel for the students more than anybody. So I would encourage them to keep up the activism that they're engaging in through their petitions and letter writing. We've seen amazing shows of solidarity from our students already.
Now, earlier in the show, we spoke with the CEO of the College Employment Council, who told us that they're not able to concede on those points because the regime of 50-50 between faculty, part-time faculty and full-time faculty is just too rigid for them, and it will cost them. They say they are $250 million apart, and they're just not able to meet those demands.
All right, Ginella, thank you so much. And we also have a live look at Humber College. This is where picket lines have started just about a half an hour ago here. Now again, faculty members, 12,000 of them from right across the province, have walked off the job. Now people are being asked to remain calm and be respectful of the picket lines if they are trying to approach college campuses this morning. 500,000 students out of the classroom this morning after teachers and college faculty around the province called a strike late last night. 12,000 teachers, counselors, and librarians from 24 colleges across the province have hit the picket lines now, and it's not clear when talks will resume. Ginella Massa now is live at George Brown with the latest. Ginella.
Well, Tammy, 500,000 college students across the province waking up to classes canceled. The picketing has just started here outside of George Brown. Now, we spoke with members of the union as well as the College Employment Council about what some of the major sticking points are that caused these faculty members, 12,000 of them, to walk off the job last night.
We were willing to negotiate around that. It's a little bit disingenuous for them to claim that there's no money when their own presidents were looking to the government back in December for, 20% plus raises for themselves. We think that money is better directed into the classrooms and into the frontline faculty.
They talk about academic freedom and essentially talking about academic control. So yes, faculty are a very important part of the process, but we also use accreditation bodies, program advisory committees to help shape the programs for the colleges.
So just to recap some of those major points, the union asking for a 50-50 ratio between part-time and full-time faculty. They also want what they're calling more academic freedom, decision-making, to be able to decide what the curriculum looks like. But the College Council says that right now they are $250 million apart. Tammy.
All right, thanks very much, Ginella. It's Ginella Massa live at George Brown College. And we have live pictures coming in from Humber College as well. The picket lines are set up there as well as at 24 other colleges right across the province. This is a live look now at the picket lines at Humber College as 12,000 faculty members now walk off the job. Now, there has been some confusion among students who are traveling on the TTC or on GO Transit. Those buses don't appear to be going into the actual college campus itself at this point because of those picket lines. So keep in mind that if you are traveling through the TTC or GO Transit, make sure that you check the routes and any kind of amendments to those routes, as those bus stops may have been moved because of the picket lines. Thanks, Carrie.
Other top story here at home is, of course, what's going on with the colleges. First thing this morning, we had faculty set up picket lines at 24 colleges, affecting about 500,000 students right now. Ginella Massa has been standing by at George Brown this morning.
And Ginella, so what are people saying to you this morning? I know you've been talking to both sides, really, both students and the union, the council. What is the feel?
Well, first of all, not too many students showing up because obviously many have been watching social media and online, hearing that the strike is on, that classes are canceled. So the few that are here are those who weren't really sure what was happening. We've talked to some international students who weren't 100%. One girl told me that her professor was supposed to send an email last night. She didn't get one, and she had a test this morning. So she showed up, and we were the ones who told her, well, class is canceled. She pays about $13,000 a year for her business program. She says it's triple, double as an international student. We spoke with another young boy who said that he was just returning from holidays and didn't know about the strike and arrived early this morning to finish his assignment. Again, that assignment not due today.
Thank you very much, Ginella Massa, speaking to us from George Brown this morning.